Hi everyone, this is artist Jorine Beck and I'm doing another workshop for Centrale Art Gallery. So this is workshop 3 and the title of the workshop is Mysterious Markings. Now, throughout this workshop series, which is taking place at the start of 2021, we're looking at the exhibition at Centrale called Alterations. And in this exhibition, there's loads of different artists making art about the environment, climate change, and how people feel about nature and the environment, what kind of emotions and their identities to do with it as well. Now, for today, we're going to look up a really cool piece of art, but first, can you make sure you have all the materials ready that you need? So I'm going to ask you to get 2 papers, can be just normal white papers. I'm going to ask you to get paint ready. So I've got some acrylic paints, but you can use watercolor paint as well. If you really don't have anything to do with paint, you can also use colored pens. Paint is the coolest thing for this workshop. Let me have a think. And I want you to use some colored pens or a pencil as well. Now, we're first going to have a look at the first artwork of today. And in order to do that, we're going to have a look at a little video. Now, this artwork, it's called Minding Corals, and it's by Erika Yalasao. Now, I'll show you the video. Let's see if you can see the screen. And let's have a look together. Now, what you saw there is you saw some corals. And this artist had made those corals that you saw, the beautiful colors, on the computer. So she's come up with a new way of showing these corals and putting all different types of corals together. And I've got a photo here so you can have a look at it again. And look at all the beautiful textures and colors in different areas in this artwork. What she did after is she used this thing she designed and then in 3D, she created a mark of that. So almost like she's taken this coral that she's made online on the computer and she made it in real life and she marked it into plaster. So I'll show you the other picture that you can really see how it's marked into plaster. Have a look. I'll zoom in a bit for you. So it's almost like all those different areas of the coral have marked this material. And if you wouldn't have seen the coral and only have seen this, you would think, hey, these are quite some mysterious markings. What could it be? Could it be a fossil or corals or some kind of plant that died long ago? Or don't really know. Now we're going to do something similar today. And I'm going to ask you to first go on a little exploration in your home or school. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to pick up 2 objects, but there's 2 rules. The first rule is the object needs to be able to fit within a piece of paper. Yeah, so it can't be bigger. So say as big as your hand or a little bit bigger, but it can't be bigger than the paper. The second rule is it can't be a circle or a rectangle. It needs to be a different type of shape. Now, I'll show you what I've picked. I've picked this glove, and then I've picked a bottle, plastic bottle. Now, you can decide what you're going to choose, but think about the size and the shape. You can pause now and go explore, bring back 2 objects. Right, once you're back with your objects, you're going to get your piece of paper, get a colored pen, and choose the color that has nothing to do with your object. What we're going to do today, is going to make experimental art. And with experimental art, we're going to make things that are not necessarily realistic. So we're not going to copy exactly the object that we've chosen. We're going to use it, and then we're going to go far, far away from it to make it look like something different. Because if people see your artwork, they might not immediately know what they're looking at, and that's what we want. Yeah? So I want you to place your object onto your paper, and with your color, I'm going to draw the shape. Now, as you can see, this is my glove. It doesn't even look like a glove anymore, and that doesn't matter because I've just used the rough outline of the glove. So can you please pause me and do that for both of your objects on the two different papers, please? All right, now you should have two different papers with the two different shapes that are not circles or squares, two different shapes on your paper. Now, next thing, I'm going to send you on a little expedition again. I'm going to ask you to collect in your house or in your school 3 things. First thing is something to do with nature. Oh, and the rule is with all of these things, they should be allowed to have paint on it. So don't get something very expensive that doesn't belong to you. But you need to be able to either throw it after or clean it up. So something that can have paint on it. The first thing is something from nature. So I've chosen a little stick from my garden. It could be a leaf or could be even a vegetable or anything as long as it's to do with nature. Or a rock. Next thing is I want you to go to your recycling bin and pick something from the recycling bin. Now I've picked a piece of cardboard. And I'll let you know the third thing and then you can go off and get it all. Third thing is something from the trash that can't be recycled. I've picked a piece of plastic from a plastic bag. Right, hit pause and go collect your 3 materials, please. Now, once you're back with your 3 materials, what we're going to do, we're going to make our own mysterious markings. Now, I'll teach you a technique, how to make different types of markings. We're going to use the 3 materials that you've picked. So you can pick a material, pick a color, and I'll show you different ways of making marks. First way is to do stamping. So with your object, you dip it into the paint. You can pick any of those 3 objects. It all works. Dip it in the paint and you can make marks. And do it within your shape. So you're going to choose an area. Say I'm going to choose this area here. And I'm going to try to do some stamps. So I'm going to pick a piece of material, for instance, my cardboard. Dip it in the paint and I'm going to do some stamping in one area. Yeah, so you can try that. See if you can do some different stamps with the different materials. And then I'll teach you 2 more mark makings. So after you've hit pause and tried a little area with that, I'm going to show you the next mark making. This is called hatching. Hatching, again, you can use any of your 3 materials, use any color, and you make lines like that. So pick an area in your object and you can make lines like that or across like that. Or you can even do them one way and then another way as well. See if you can play around with that. You can choose any of your materials and any color. And you can hit pause. Now, the next and third and final mark making technique is curved lines. This one I've done with my stick in red paint. And this is just making loads of lines, but they can't be straight or at an angle at all. They're all very curvy. So think about this almost like a little trail. Maybe an animal is like a little slug has moved over your paper, or it's a little trail you can walk on. It's really nice and curvy. Yeah, so try to use that one as well. And once you're doing that, see if you can feel your whole shape with mysterious marks. I'll show you an example. This is my glove, and as you can see, I've done stamping, done hatching, different stamps and hatches, and I've done curvy lines. You can feel the whole inside of your shape. Another example, this was my bottle. Might be even cool to put it upside down so people don't immediately recognize it. And I've used different types of hatches and shapes and marks. Now, I only had a little bit of time, but you can feel all of it with different colors and shapes. If you don't have paint, you can do the same with your colored pens, but make sure you do stamping, so dots, hatching, lines, and curves. Make sure you really feel your shape. Right, and hit pause, take as much time as you need to fill this. Right, once you've filled your mysterious shapes, I want you to name it. And when we think about experimental art, you're not going to say exactly what it was. So I'm not going to call this a glove, or I'm going to call this a bottle. No, I'm going to think about what it makes me feel, or maybe something I see in it, or a color. So I can think about like a mountain range or fairy tale, little houses I can see, or little clouds with wishes. I can call it the wish, or fairy tale, or magic forest. Yeah, the same for the other one. Think of a name that is not literally what it is, but something how it makes you feel. And once you've written the names on both the artworks, also write your artist name under it. Hit pause. Okay, so I would love to see what you've made. So you can always send the Art Gallery Centrala a picture of your artwork, because we really love to see it. So today we had a look at some art what's to do about marks and mark making. So yes, you have something that's an object, that's a real thing, but that object can make marks and shapes. And little materials can also make marks and shapes. But when we take those objects and materials away and we just see the marks, what can we think about? What's left then? Do we immediately know what it is? Or do we just have an idea of what it might have been? There's a mystery to it. And because of the way we've used mark making today, we've done a bit of an experiment. Yeah? Now, you've done a great job and really looking at different objects and materials in your house. Now, if you enjoyed this workshop, next week is going to be a workshop for week 4. It's going to be called Microbe Meets Mountain. We're going to look at some whole different artworks and loads of pictures, and we're going to do another creative artworks ourselves. So thank you so much for joining me and Centrala Art Gallery for this workshop, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Bye!